You're listening to Parasearch Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or their affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
It's Monday evening, and you're listening to Joe and Gemma on the Supernaturelle show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Supernaturelle show. I'm Jo, your host for this evening. The lovely Gemma is, I think she's away tonight, actually. She wanted a night off, so we thought what better night to let her have her night off. So, well, we usually kind of do a bit of a roundup of what we've been doing over the past week. Now, I've started my new job, which is amazing. I get to find all these beautiful little gin distilleries everywhere and having a look at their lovely bottles, and they're very ornate. So I'm settling in nicely there. Now, over the weekend, been out investigating an absolute amazing place with a couple of friends of mine who we were absolutely blown away by some of the evidence that we captured. And, you know, after one night of investigating there, even during the day, it's so active. But yeah, it was the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre. So I just wanted to say thank you to Neil and obviously Jane Rowley for having us down there. It was a fantastic night, and I can't wait to go back again. It was that good. So for all of you guys who actually listen to the show week in, week out, you can actually catch us on Spreaker and get in the chat room and see who's in there. And if you want to ask my guests a question this evening, then you are more than welcome to. Now, I've got two absolutely lovely lads from the unknown. Now, Craig and Matt are joining me this evening. Good evening, guys.
Hello.
Hi. Hello, how are you both? Anyway, I haven't spoken to you for ages.
Oh, very good, thanks. Yeah, very good.
Good, yeah. Good. Matt, I speak to you all the time, don't I? But anyway. But yeah, Craig, how have you been?
Yeah, really well. Yeah, just busy.
Yeah, have you been out investigating?
Yeah, we was out on Saturday at the old Nick Theatre.
Oh, what did you think to that?
Ghost Hunters. That's really good, though. Actually, we had some good results. You had like a 10-degree temperature drop at one point as well, which is pretty unusual because usually it's just a couple of degrees. But having a 10-degree temperature drop.
We sealed off the environment when that occurred. So there was like no windows, no open doors. So it was kind of interesting. It's right in the heart of the building, so it shouldn't really have been possible.
Yeah, it is a good place. I mean, I live quite near there, so it is phenomenal. So did you get any activity down in the cells?
We got sounded like shuffling noises and stuff, didn't we?
Yeah, it was more in the corridor outside the cells rather than actually in them. But yeah, it definitely got steps shuffling around.
There was a light at one point. Me and one of the guests see a light. We thought it was just the other team coming down, and so we went out to see if it was them, and no one was there. So but the light stopped. We got around the corner of the corridor.
Yeah. So certainly the exercise yard's quite an interesting place as well. But the cells themselves. I think some other members of the team. Because we were out with the Cambridge Ghost Hunters, as we said, I think they certainly experienced things in the cells, but on a personal note, I personally didn't really get that much in them.
Not in the cells.
Right.
Yeah, it's still a fantastic venue though. Yeah.
That's good. So, Matt, what is your favourite venue that you've ever visited?
Oh, God, put me right on the spot there.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Cause, I mean, we've been very lucky over the years. I mean, we've been to some absolutely amazing places, but I think for me, one of the most interesting ones is a place that I go to with Craig. We've gone a couple of times with the unknown, and it's a Cold Christmas church venue out in the middle of, where is it, Huntingdon countryside?
Where, isn't it?
Where?
Yeah.
Where? Yeah. Very interesting venue. I mean, it's a ruined church, and what's left of the graveyard. But we always get some quite fantastic activity there, and some very, very good EVPs, really incredible spirit box work. And I mean,
even trigger objects have gone.
Yeah. I mean, but we've had boulders thrown at us on one occasion. So yeah, it's a fantastic place.
That's good. And Craig, what's your favourite venue to go to?
I would have to agree with Matt, actually. Cold Christmas Church is great. Not only that, sometimes even private houses, actually. You find that you have a lot of activity at private houses, compared to, you go to like the most scariest looking castle, but yet you can go to a 2-bedroom flat in a new housing estate and have more activity happen. But that's obviously, looking back at history, it's more the land it's built on, isn't it? So
private houses. Yeah. I mean, certainly, as Craig said, I think the most aggressive hauntings that we've come across have been in private houses. I mean, where it really has been problematic rather than sort of it being a point of interest. It's been a point of, the actual owners going, please help us because we're having such a bad time. And I think it was your sister's house, was it not?
My sister's one of them.
Yeah. Craig's sister actually ended up having to sell her house because it got so bad. So,
wow. Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't buy it, Craig, to be honest.
I wish I could.
But yeah.
Unfortunately, what was there was actually it got aggressive, and they had children. It was
targeted children.
So they had to move.
Even my brother-in-law, he ended up getting strangled, and he was always at work, so he never really experienced it much. And when Mrs. sort of sat him down and said, "Look, this is happening," he was going, "Well, it's not." And then the next minute, he sort of felt his hand come around his throat and start strangling him, and he had to go outside, and it was all right after that. And that's when they sort of got us in.
And bear in mind, he was like sort of mega skeptical of this. Yeah. So it was a pretty scary moment, I think, for everyone. So yeah,
you usually find that though, don't you? The most skeptical people, if they're in a house case like that, something usually happens to them to actually change their perception. And obviously, he had that happen to him. Now, did you do any research on the house?
I looked back in the research after, because we didn't really do any research before, but after we found out, my nephew was actually saying that he kept seeing this man who had like a messed up face. That's all he could describe him as, because he was quite young.
Right.
But the history, it said that my sister's house, because she was like a row of houses, that house originally caught on fire years back, and it's actually set fire to all the houses along her road.
Right.
So obviously people died in the fire and stuff there, so that would explain if my nephew was seeing a guy with like a messed up face.
Yeah. It would explain that, but it wouldn't kind of explain the kind of negativity that went with it, would it?
I mean, obviously a lot of time with problems in houses. I mean, it's for many, many reasons, but I mean, the most awkward one is obviously if it becomes like a territorial battle between, the previous residents, so to speak, and the present ones. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's such a pain to try to resolve, because sometimes you just can't solve it. I mean, you can't forcibly evict.
Yeah.
Spirits. I mean, I guess people are on the fence about what's possible and what isn't. But I mean, from my point of view, I don't actually agree with that process of forceful eviction.
No.
And whether it actually solves the problem or not is also very, very debatable, because usually it comes back again.
Yeah. So do you guys have to go to quite a lot of like private cases and things like that?
We've been to a fair few now, haven't we?
Actually,
not major, but
not so many recently. But we certainly went to quite a few. I mean, it really came about after. I mean, we did an appearance on the Cambridge radio station.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a lot of call-ins, and a couple of people called in from there that wanted help, and it kind of sort of went from there, really. I mean, Craig's sisters was before that, but we hadn't sort of really put out an advert saying, we'll come to your house, so to speak, because it's not such a simple process. Obviously, I mean, you're dealing with members of the public, and you got to sort of do quite a bit of research into what you're walking into, just from the point of walking into an unknown individual's house, so to speak, without being rude. I mean, I'm coming from, there's obviously certain risks involved in that, so.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it is. They're quite interesting though, private cases, aren't they? Because you usually find, and I know this is what I've kind of come across previously, is that they always have small children, or they have children 10 and under that I tend to get called to, asking if we can kind of come and investigate. And there was actually one house that I went to in a place called Castleford, which obviously you guys know roughly where that is. But it was just a normal terraced house, just a 2 up, 2 down. And the things that we basically had were, scratchers, they were evil voices, even through the spirit box. When we did the spirit box, it was just pure evil. And it wasn't until I actually sat down with the young lady and said to her, have you been practicing, any sort of dark arts or anything like that in the house? And she said, oh yeah, just like it was normal. And it was like, oh wow. And it was kind of then I realized exactly what I was dealing with. And it's kind of one of them things when you think, oh, why, I did ask her earlier on in the evening until I actually said to her that it was a negative energy. And that's when she proceeded to tell me that she loves following the dark magic and things like that. And she was, quite disturbed, really. And I just packed my stuff up and kind of left, because when people invite things like that into their lives, it is very difficult to kind of eradicate them, isn't it?
Yeah. I think half the problem with sort of things when you talk about sort of ritual magic, for example, or anything like that, the problem is that in practice it's a very simple thing to get a result from. The problem is that a lot of people don't actually realise they've got a result. They certainly don't approach it correctly. They certainly don't shut things down. That's when problems occur. You bring an energy into an area. Okay, if you work with it, if you're doing it for whatever reason, as you probably well know, you always close it down, make sure it's gone back to where it needs to be. Rather than saying, great, please loiter around my house and cause me loads of problems, because and energy takes on form, takes on emotion from the environment, and it just becomes something radically different to what it originally started out as. If you're not sort of on top of that,
Yeah,
We've also had it as
totally.
well, where people have sort of read books and not really understood what they're doing, but they've read a book and the next minute they believe that they can do more than what they can, and they've brung all these things.
Well, I think the truth is that people can do more than they can. I mean, it doesn't have to be. I mean, magic is as complicated as it needs to be for the individual. It's a very personal thing, and I mean, if you believe that the most simplest thing out of a library book will work, it will work. But there is certainly a way to open and close any ritual, and that is often not included. And I think that's where problems occur.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you now how you guys actually came into the paranormal, because I know we've both got a mutual friend in Gary Fields, haven't we? And I know, and Gary is Gary is lovely. He's helped me no end, and obviously I know he's helped you, Matt, as well.
Enormously. Actually, to be fair, enormously.
With the classes he's done with us and stuff, it's just sort of massively opened us up even more to what we can experience.
It was nice. I mean, what it basically gave direction. Which I certainly didn't have before, and gave me basically a lot of courage to really step up and work properly, rather than sort of sit in the background mumbling about whether I actually could do things.
It's strange as well, because we all met, didn't we, on a private investigation that Gary had invited us all onto, and we actually went to a pub, and we also went to it wasn't a graveyard as such, was it? It was more of a
well, I think it was a graveyard, because I think there used to be a chapel there at one stage. It was basically gravestones, but they were set into the ground rather than being upright. I believe there used to be a chapel there. I think the guy that took us there was saying that. I could be wrong, but I think he said that. Yeah.
But we had an eventful night that evening, though, didn't we? Because we went into the pub. Do you want to just talk us through? Because I know this is on your Facebook page and your YouTube channel, isn't it, as well? And you guys did your investigation and filmed that. So what experiences did you have there?
I think a lot of it at the time actually was with Helen from Redshift Radio. Sort of Gary put her in trance quite a lot throughout the evening and had quite a lot of good results come through. And then there was Dave, the spirit juror.
It's good, Dave.
His name is Dave.
I think Dave.
Is Emma and Dave. From Forgotten Era Paranormal.
That's right. Sorry,
and he was sort of drawing as people sort of saying what people were picking up on and things like. He still picked up and met people. And it sort of, the picture he showed just described exactly what everyone had come up with. It's the same as the names that you'd all sort of said as well, which was quite interesting.
That was amazing, though, wasn't it? Because we had Mandy Fellows from Anubis Paranormal there. We've got Kelly Johnston, we got Phil Johnston, we got Gary, we got both of you guys, and we got Dave Hart from Forgotten Era Paranormal, with Emma, his wife.
It turned into a huge event, didn't it? I think it's about 13 of us, 14 of us.
Yeah, I think it was about 13, wasn't there? And it turned. And it was just fantastic just to see how much para unity, as they call it, had all come together and all work together as a team, and it was fantastic. It was a brilliant night. I enjoyed every minute of it.
And you make good friends from it as well. Like we're now good friends with pretty much everyone we met on that night. So
it was good.
Yeah, I mean, we're really very lucky because I mean, not fun. I mean, obviously you can't get on with everyone, but actually we kind of did. So it was one of those sort of unique situations where it just worked. You know?
I mean, there was like how many different teams there? There was quite obviously Gary works on his own, but he gets invited to quite a lot of investigations, and I've accompanied Gary on quite a few investigations. And you know, it's so lovely to be welcomed by those other teams, but also to be, you know, to have those teams as friends as well.
Definitely. I mean, I think we were sort of more disturbed by the fact that people had actually heard of us rather than anything. It was as much as it was actually quite. It's not really funny. It really was quite a surprise because I mean, you don't. It's just something we don't really sort of think about. I mean, we certainly didn't do it for that reason. We just do it because out of genuine, you know, love for what we're doing, and you know, the fact that people watch or even interested in what we do is just like an added bonus.
Yeah. Do you not think though that there should be a lot more of the para-unity? You know, these large venues that are you know, charging extortionate amounts of money that you guys can't physically pay for, and
Well, the problem with some para-unity events is that they also charge extortionate amounts of money to actually be a part of it. So some of them are great. Don't get me wrong here, but some of them still charge quite a bit of money.
I know like Gemma and I are attending Warwick Castle in July, and that is actually a charity event with Entering the Unknown Paranormal, and you know, the tickets are £45, but that all goes to the British Heart Foundation.
I mean,
it's different when it goes to charities.
That's completely understandable because that's going to a very good cause, and I mean, basically everyone should go to that event. You know, so anyone who's listening should try and go to that. That's superb if they're doing that.
And it's great as well because it just means that obviously the UK Haunted Boys are going to be there as well, which is fab because they just had another successful live stream Saturday, which was great. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it because we were investigating elsewhere. But you know, Mickey and Alex and Eamon.
So we actually was lucky enough because we met Mickey on a para-unity event actually the other month, wasn't it? That was with Ashley Bucknam's para-unity event, and we worked with some amazing people there as well. So obviously
that was at the village.
The Villages, yeah.
Oh, you guys went to the village, didn't you?
Yeah. That was a really good evening. We met some fantastic people there.
Wednesbury boys, we met them. That we worked with them pretty much all night. They were lovely. C&D, Katie, Ashley, all of them.
They're lovely, aren't they, as well?
Andy from Infrared. That's what we love doing because you know it's great just meeting new people and who have the same interest, but you know they work in different ways, but you know you do get on really well and work well together. So
but it was. Sorry, please go ahead.
It's okay. Go on, Matt. It's fine.
I've forgotten what I was going to say now.
No, it's good. It is good though, isn't it? How we can all come together and like we were saying that night, we got on fantastically, didn't we? And it was just definitely. You know, when I asked you to come on the radio, I was like, you know, I needed to find obviously a guest, and I was like, right, I know the perfect people to come on the show.
That's very kind. Thank you very much.
But no, I mean, Matt, we talk all the time, don't we? And
definitely. I mean, obviously, it would sort of got on extremely well. So I was very, very lucky to have met you, obviously for personal reasons. So
but that's, you know, that is one thing that I'm very proud. We've both got family, you know, in America, and you've done some of your family history, haven't you? And you know the things that have come up with Salem. I'm just like.
That's a bit of an unfortunate element to our family history, but where the directors and it's actually Mary Townick, who was unluckily herself and the sister were two of the individuals who were hung at Salem. The interesting about Mary was after she was hung, another woman came forward who apparently was a member of the family who consisted primarily of the constables who are in charge of the actual arrests and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She came forward and said that she'd actually been visited by Mary's ghost, who had turned around and basically said that she'd been wrongly accused of witchcraft. And what then actually happened was about 19 years later, I believe, the British government actually gave the family an official apology for wrongful execution and gave them £20 compensation. So that's a weird one, isn't it? So you get hung for witchcraft, and someone sees a ghost, and that then gets accepted. The irony is unbelievable, isn't it? That shows you how messed up really things were at that sort of time. But
yeah, I mean, that absolutely blew me away. When you sent me all those things, I was like, oh my goodness.
It blew me away. I didn't even know I had a family until I did. I mean, obviously I knew about my mum loosely, but I'd never spoken to him. And you managed to put me in touch with my family, which I'm obviously eternally grateful for. So that's fantastic.
That's what friends do, isn't it? And it's I'm just proud that you've got that now.
I mean, I know that Leah's my sister in America. I know that she can't wait to meet you. So yeah.
Well, that's good. I can't wait. If whenever you decide to head over the pond, just let me know, because it would be fantastic to go.
Well, I think Leah and her family they're trying to get the money together to come over to England, because I know it's very difficult for me to actually travel by aeroplane. So I've got chest problems.
Right. Okay.
So I think they come over this side, and we're going to definitely try and organise something.
Organise a special event just for them, so we should come along to it.
That'd be amazing.
So you must come to that. I mean, that's obligatory, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be there regardless anyway, so that's really good. So what's in the pipeline for you guys then at the moment?
We're currently still recording for series 2 of The Unknown.
Mm-hmm.
We're sort of going to different venues. We've recorded the first 2 series for it. That's just sort of being put together now.
First two episodes.
Sorry. Yeah. And that's being put together now. But we've obviously got a lot more lined up for more shows. And obviously we're doing a show with you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Gary.
Can't wait for that.
That's going to be fantastic, isn't it? So yeah. I mean, we're lucky enough now. I mean, we've got a new for series 2. We've got a new camera lady.
Sarah. She's great.
Sarah.
Yeah.
So we're very, very fortunate to have her, which makes life a lot easier for us, obviously, because when we first filmed series 1, I mean, literally all we had was one sort of half working camcorder together with masking tape and a mobile phone, and we literally filmed, I think it was 4 episodes on that.
Just winged it, didn't we? It sort of worked.
Stood out in the middle of nowhere with the worst lighting and the worst sound, but somehow we pulled it off, and they come out a lot better than what we expected. So you can do on a budget of absolutely nothing. Which I think was kind of the lesson or the message that we put out there, was you don't have to have the best of equipment. I mean, okay, we're lucky now we've got some half decent cameras.
Yeah.
But really it's because people did mention the fact that the sound quality wasn't always that good. The picture quality really, it was poor. But then again, as I've just explained, you can now probably understand why.
Well, I've actually found out this weekend that you can get wireless mics and do a sound rig of your own and just wire it up to an iPhone. That's what I found out this weekend, and I was like, oh my god, you can do that. And I'm not very tech savvy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can edit a video and I can produce a video and I can direct and kind of sit there and say that shot would look amazing, this shot would look good. Not tech savvy,
I don't think we can actually manage to do one of those things between us.
We'll send you across all the footage and you can put them together for us.
Do you know what? I do actually quite like doing stuff like that, because it is time consuming, isn't it? But when you see that finished product and you know that people are actually watching you on YouTube, and people are liking everything, and we are always going to get somebody who puts the thumbs down or doesn't like it, but do you know what I say? You don't have to watch, do they?
Well, we think it's a good thing, because we always get, as soon as you post any video, we always get 1 thumbs down. That's the second we post it, so it's obviously someone doesn't really like us very much for some reason. I don't know why.
Mandatory.
But in a way, it's a good thing, because people sometimes see the thumbs down and go, "What's this about?" And they click on it.
It does. In a way, you've got to turn negative to positive.
So whoever is putting the thumbs down, like, thank you.
Yeah, you're just helping boost our ratings, so that's fine.
Exactly. Thank you.
Well, it kind of does. I mean, it's the only way you can really look at it. I mean, you could get annoyed about it, but I don't think it's worth it. I mean, people are entitled to their opinions, and it is what it is. I mean, they're not all going to be fantastic. Of course, they're not. And that's the joys of the paranormal world, really. I mean, if you could always guarantee phenomenal results, well, great. But unfortunately, you can't.
No.
So
we always say that, though, isn't it? It's like, negative. It's like anything in the media. Negative news is always positive, because it kind of keeps you in their faces, doesn't it? Constantly.
Yeah. Well, I such some negative news. I wouldn't say all negative news, but
No, but it's like, Yeah, I mean, we got to, we got to the point on, I think, Celebrity Haunted Hotel it was, and you get the same old people slating other people, and it's just like, do you not get bored of it now? It does get boring, doesn't
It's
it?
fun. It's the people that have literally no interest in the paranormal at all, and it just makes you think, the more you're watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. To change the channel or turn over.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think complaining about things is what gives their life purpose, really. but I'm going to get in trouble if I keep saying too much. I'll just be quiet.
I love it when you try and be diplomatic, because I know exactly what you're like, and you.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know how hard it is for me to achieve this? Yeah.
But that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's a fantastic genre to be in, and I was speaking to another girl on Saturday, and she was talking to me about cases of like disappearance and UFOs and things like that. Now, what takes on different genres do you take? Obviously,
we're actually recording a show with a guy that got an alien abductee soon.
It's multiple abductees.
Yeah.
He's already done stuff for the BBC. Did he not?
Yeah, he's done a lot
programs
for BBC and with people like Danny Dyer and stuff, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But we're going to be doing a show with him as well, and
wow.
Is it?
Yeah.
But we're in for us, it's interesting. Like all sorts of things that are interesting to us as well, not just paranormal.
Yeah, well, I mean, the term paranormal
covers all of it. Yeah,
covers a vast spectrum. I mean, I think if we called ourselves, the unknown ghost hunters, then fair enough. Then we'd just be focusing on that. But because we we're trying to sort of encompass everything really that we can within reason. Really, I mean, if we can put it out there and do it well, we'll do it. But it's not. We're not going to do it just like for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean? We were lucky with this guy. We found someone who seems as credible as you're ever going to get in this sort of thing, and that's exactly what we want. Because if you're going to put a story out there, you might as well do it well.
Yeah.
So
we've also said we've done one with Mark Egerton, who's the author of Haunted Histories of Huntingdonshire.
God, you said it.
I did say it.
You said it.
It's a tongue twister.
But we've got it wrong about 30 times from trying to film it.
So it's brilliant. Yeah. But we've done the show with him, and he was just sort of telling one of his ghost stories and stuff, and that wasn't about us at all, but we think it's important to sort of let other people share their experience and stuff as well, and that's what we enjoy doing. So
yeah, I mean, we'll just sort of see how it goes, really. I mean, obviously the branching into the UFO world, it's a new thing for us.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm not going to lie and say we know loads about it, because the truth is that we really don't. So it's sort of a void of discovery, really. But it's hopefully if we can put something good together, then it's worth doing it.
It's just interesting. So.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So. How did you both get into the paranormal? Because obviously we've talked about Paraunity, we've talked about all of that, but I want to know how you both got into there.
So for me, I sort of had experiences when I was younger, but I wasn't really too sure about what it was. And my actual real dad was a ghost hunter as well. But so when I was younger, instead of going out and climbing trees, I was sort of playing with like the rods and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I sort of got older, I sort of started watching like TV programs and stuff as well, and wanted to sort of learn more about it, and wanted to join a team. So I obviously come across the Cambridge Ghost Hunters, and I originally joined the team, and I was in that for a couple of years, and then that unfortunately got shut down. But then I sort of missed it, so I thought, I've got to open another team. So I sort of opened another team, and Carl, who used to run at the time, sort of said, well, carry on with the Cambridge Ghost Hunters because the name's already out there. So I did. I sort of opened up with all new investigators, and Matt was one of them from the very beginning. And then obviously I've been running that for now 8 years. It's got to be about 8 years now.
9 years, isn't it?
9 years, and then we've started obviously the unknown this year with me and Matt. So
yeah. I mean, I personally, I was from a very young age, I was very sort of aware of spirit forms and energy around me. Whether I sort of understood it or not is another thing. I mean, the truth is I probably didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very aware that I sort of saw things quite differently to other people. As I grew up, I studied occult systems for a very long time, and ended up sort of working from a practitioner point of view. Before sort of really realising that sensing and stuff like that was, I mean, it's an integral part in working with occult systems. Anyhow, you have to develop the same abilities and effect to work with it. But I branched out from that eventually and went more into healing. And I trained as a Reiki master. I've got a master level in Tibetan Asui Reiki. and eventually ended up moving to Cambridgeshire. Still obviously very, very interested in all of this world, but I was actually just trying to find work, and I looked in the job page, and Craig had advertised in Job Seekers or something like that for wanted people for the Cambridge Ghost Hunters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I got in touch with Craig, obviously, and ended up joining his team, and through that, I mean, Craig put me in touch with Gary. Literally, it was something that he'd seen and said, "Oh, this looks really good. You should apply for it." And I thought, well, funny, Gary's a celebrity guy with really high profile, running really exclusive courses from his house with about 6 students. I thought, yeah, the likelihood of me getting that is absolutely nil. But as it happens, actually, I did get a place on it. And Gary was going, "Cool, you're a bit keen, aren't you? Because it's all the way down the other end of the country. It's about a 4.5 hour drive." But yeah, so I ended up going and seeing Gary for development courses, and eventually ended up bringing Craig along to him as well.
Mm-hmm.
And from there we sort of decided that it would be to expand on what we're doing. We really wanted to sort of do our own sort of show as a side thing to the Cambridge Ghost Hunters, so it's a separate entity to it completely.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really because Gary suggested that we should work together as mediums, or from sensitive point of view, which is where you want to put it, medium sensitives, very similar thing. Because we kind of sort of feed off of each other.
Yeah.
And it started with us sort of saying we wanted to practice this, but working with the team it's quite difficult, so we figured and it sort of turned into the show, and it's gone from there really.
Gary sort of described us as like a magnet, so we both pick up things in completely different ways, but working together we sort of get more of a clearer picture. So even for me, I was sort of on the fence about the whole mediumship side of it. I would see things and experience things, but for me, I'm like, well, I'll just sort of tuck it away and not just ignore it. That's when Matt sort of said, "No, you have to come along." And first I went down there, Gary sort of proved it within the first 10 minutes of the actual class, really.
It kind of all happened, didn't it, after an unfortunate event at the venue we were at, and sort of think Craig came to my aid. I got myself in a bit of trouble at Langard Fort.
Oh, bless you. What happened?
Well, we had about 25 members of the public there. It was on a team building event, which is not the most ideal thing, because obviously half of them didn't actually even want to be there for a ghost event, but they were there because they were.
Because it was work, wasn't it?
Yeah, and at the very end of the evening, I'd come up from the tunnels and went, I said to Craig, I just noticed something down in the tunnels that struck me as being rather strong, and I sort of thought, right, didn't really want to engage with it, so I walked around. Craig goes, "Oh, great, let's go down and have a look." And before we knew it, all 25 people had come down.
They followed us,
It's like, oh wow, okay. So we were in a tunnel that terminated behind me. So one way in, one way out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm stood at the bottom, and all the members of the public are in front of me. And I said, okay, I'll try and bring this individual into the area, just for the end, right at the very end of the evening, so you can all experience it. And everyone's going, okay, make it what you will. And as soon as I did this, I instantly regretted it. I mean, because this individual at the very end of the corridor that was now trapping everyone in was much bigger and much stronger than I ever imagined it would be. And it was like, oh, God, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So I ended up asking everyone to back against the wall. And they're still all sort of going, yeah, this is, thinking I was having a laugh, because obviously nobody really knew or could work out what I was talking about. But they humoured me, put their backs against the wall. So I said to the MC, right, come down the middle, right, but you're not to touch anyone, you're not to hurt anybody, just come and stand in front of me. Come straight down the middle, avoid everyone else. But as he walked down the room, suddenly everyone's opinions radically changed.
People felt that was being pushed against the wall, and there was even some of the guys there was just like screaming because they were seeing this dark figure go in front of them. Everyone was just petrified, weren't they?
Yeah, so I said I ended up with this individual down the bottom, upon which I sort of said to everyone else, right, leave the tunnel, go away, because it's safe. And so I thought, oh God, what do I do now? So I'm now stuck at the bottom with this great big thing in front of me. And Craig luckily remained in the tunnel, and I pulled him in and sort of helped me push this individual back enough for us to get out, which took about 20 minutes.
Yeah, if not more, yeah.
So it wasn't an ideal situation. I certainly didn't intentionally mean this to happen, but I was still quite new to this. And this was, I think, after one of my first training sessions with Gary.
It was.
So he opened me up a little bit further than I actually perceived. I remember I spoke to Gary about it, and Gary goes, "Oh, it's fantastic." He goes, "You should go back and do it again." He goes, "It's what great training." I went, "Mate, I never want to experience that ever again, ever. Thank you very much."
Bless you.
He was really excited about it, and he thought that I dealt with it very well, and so he was very pleased about that. But I was just thinking, God, mate, you know,
Mate, I love
Yeah.
that saying. I
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that all the
absolutely.
time now. I'm like, oh,
there you
mate.
go. I've infiltrated your mind. There you go.
Oh, I tell you what, though, it is frightening though sometimes, isn't it, when you have something happen that you definitely don't expect to happen. I mean, Gary and I were at Drakelow Tunnels, and I don't know whether you've listened to kind of past episodes or anything like that, but you know, I said to Gary, oh, I might try trance mediumship tonight, and he was like, oh, okay then, and then literally as soon as I'd said that, we walked off and did the walk round. And I just felt like I was absolutely bombarded by something. And then another guy, Eddie Frey, who's also one of our friends now, he dropped to his knees and said he felt horrendous. So, you know, do you think that being sensitive, you kind of open yourselves up to this, you know, trance mediumship? Do you think everybody can do that?
Honestly, I don't know. From what I've seen of Gary's, because I mean, Gary on the development courses, he does an awful lot of trance mediumship. He works with that a lot. Yeah, I've seen some amazing things there, which I definitely sort of, but broadened my horizon, so to speak. Because I mean, I'd never really worked with trance mediumship before. I mean, but what I've discovered since then, and I guess it's something that I kind of knew but didn't really understand, is I can quite quickly go into that state. So for me, it's kind of a fine line between sort of keeping it under control. And I mean, luckily, most of the time, if I ever do that, I mean, Craig's in the area and he's sort of very aware of what I'm like when it goes a bit too far, so he can pull me back out again. But for me, it's a weird thing, and I mean, I wouldn't like to say that it's not genuine.
Yeah.
I mean, that one of the first times that we ever experienced a woman using trance mediumship, I didn't understand the process.
No.
And I couldn't understand why she was still using words or phrases that she used in her own personal life. Do you get me? When she was channeling. And for me, I thought, that's really iffy. What I didn't appreciate was the fact that the process is never 100% spirit. You keep it at like a 50-50 to the maximum.
Yeah.
Because obviously you want to remain in control. You don't want it to go out of control.
Yeah.
And that's why, there's still 50% of your personality. I mean, this is like Gary explained it to me. So he said that sometimes, this is why phrases that you would use appear in the dialect.
Yeah.
And I really don't know. From what I've experienced, it seems very genuine.
Have you been able to transmap previously? Craig's laughing.
I've seen Matt in trance at Gary's, and he's been dancing and all sorts. It's been amazing.
What you mean? He doesn't?
He
doesn't dance all the time.
He never dances, no. But to see him actually in Gary's by himself with his arms out, just dancing to him.
You have to see him have to cut the siders, mate, and anything possible. Yeah.
Call yourself a musician, eh?
But seriously, I mean, it's a strange experience. It's a really weird experience.
I'll admit it is a strange experience. I've never had anything like that previously.
I think it's very hard to explain. I mean, people that watch it are always going to be skeptical of it because it's such a weird thing to experience. Someone actually taking on the form of someone else. But I mean, Gary did a lot of scrying. This again was something else I hadn't ever really used or experienced properly. And the first time I saw it done with one of the students up in his bathroom, he was using like a red light in the mirror. And I mean, I honestly didn't expect to see any change at all. I was thinking, okay, red light, it's going to exacerbate the shadows, so people look different. This one didn't only look different; she looked completely oriental, and it absolutely blew my mind. I mean, her whole face shape changed, so everything changed about her, and I'd never even believed that was possible to witness something like that. So.
But even Gary's cousin, was Gary's cousin on one of the courses? We done it in the back room, and she looked like her whole side of her face just looked completely burnt. Yeah.
And that was witnessed by everyone in the room. Really weird. So, it's definitely a bizarre process, and I mean, I'd be lying if I said I really understood how it works.
Yeah.
But it certainly seems to do something that. It's kind of right out there.
Yeah, I mean, going on to, obviously we're in the chat room in the chat room tonight, and I've got a question from Russ Bevan, who said Elizabeth the doll debunked but a cool pic. So I need to ask you about that.
Right, very much so.
Mickey York style. Janet the doll, anyway.
Janet, yeah.
Janet.
Right, okay, look, when we took the picture initially, it was one of those moments where like we were down in the room, and I guess we probably weren't even meant to have been picking up Mickey's doll, but it was one of those have to take a selfie moments.
With a haunted doll, yeah.
yeah, because it so we took a sneaky selfie, and the results came out like that. Now at the time, okay, we did actually look at it and say, actually, that's a really bizarre trick of the light. I mean, not be funny, you can see it. When you zoom in on the eyes, you can actually see that it's just how it is. It's how it's come out. It just looks interesting.
Yeah.
The problem was the weird was a lot of the the press got hold of the story, which was nice because it was an interesting photo. There's no doubt about that. But we were unfortunately misquoted on a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, the original story we did actually put across the fact that yes,
the light and the angle, everything was just exactly right. Because we tried, and the Wednesbury guys tried to recreate it, and none of us could at the time.
It was just one of those sort of freak occurrences that you couldn't do if you did it on purpose. We did it by accident, instead of taking a selfie, and we put all that in it. But I guess that's not the sort of thing that sells a story. And when the guys put the stories out, they kind of I think there was only one story that actually went out that actually said what we'd said. We'd said basically at the time we couldn't recreate it, but later on we thought about it, we figured it was obviously, when you look at it closely, it is the light. But again, I mean, paranormal is a weird thing, and I mean, there's many ways you can look at it. I mean, obviously you can go from the scientific, the very obvious, trick of the light, that's it explained.
Yeah.
Or I mean, well, what is a lot of the paranormal? It's kind of manipulation of light and stuff, and I mean, I don't know. You can look at it many ways, but I guess as I said in one of my things, I said, if it was Janet's intention to get her message out there, well, she succeeded, didn't she?
Yeah. Bless her. Well, it's like you said just then, like the paranormal is sometimes a trick of the light, and I always look at it this way, and I think even though I'm a medium, sensitive, whatever you want to call it, I love the fact that I can still debunk things. When everybody screams, "Oh, it's paranormal," I'm the one that sits there and says, "Actually, let's just break this down, shall we?"
Yeah. That's so important, isn't it? Is to keep that balance, because I mean, you can. I mean, some things. Yeah, it's the. I think the best thing, orbs. Orbs is the thing. Everyone orb photographs, right? Yeah. I mean, obviously, 99%. It's dust particles in front of the...
Do you know what? I just had a vision then, just literally, David Williams and bloody, what is his name? Yeah, have dust. And I just wanted to sit there.
Yeah, but I mean, the way that they put that across, they said, right, those stereo cameras you can get that take two photos at the same time?
Yeah.
Right, they said that is the best way to, obviously, if you're going to take any photos like that, use one of those, because basically a dust particle cannot be in front of both lenses at the same time.
Yeah,
in the same place. And what they did, actually, a paranormal group, I can't remember who it was, this is going back a few years, actually got hold of one of those cameras to put this to the test. And I think they took something like 200 photographs, and not a single one came out that they could say was an orb. They said that they all looked, fantastic.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And if not dust, it's quite often moisture as well.
Not orbs.
Yeah.
We've seen it with our eyes, though. We've seen orbs with actually our eyes. It's quite interesting.
But that's the difference, isn't it?
I mean, it's natural, it was like a small ball of light, and it was just sort of moving around, but you can actually see it with...
Well, it was like a firework, but that seems to be like what a proper sort of orb or light phenomenon is. You actually don't need to take a photograph to see it. You can just see it.
Well,
and it does just sort of shoot around you. Like I said, like a little firework, and it's a absolutely insane experience when it goes off, because we're just sat there going,
what is that?
Bloody hell. I haven't seen anything like that before.
It's really funny you should say that. Now, what is your, we were investigating, and this was during the day. Now, I'd done my medium, in fact, I was doing a medium walk round, and we were literally in a certain room, and there were 4 of us in the room, and I was talking to somebody else was setting up cameras and this, that, and the other. And all of a sudden, literally just right in front of me, I'd already picked up on something. a little girl that was there, and literally right in front of me, the only thing that I can describe what it looked like was like water. It was like a wave of water, and it was, honestly, I was so excited because I turned around and looked at one of the other girls, and she's sort of like, because I followed it with my eyes, and then I literally looked at one of the girls, and she just looked at me. She went, "What have you just seen?" And I was like, "You are not going to believe this." And I mean, yes, I see spirit. Yes, I see, them in movie format and things like that. We all work differently. And I do see people, but they don't show me themselves in like this sort of form that I've seen. And I just stood there and looked at my friend and said, "Oh my God, I said, it was literally like a wave." And I said, "It started here and disappeared just by the table." And she just went, "Oh my God." And I was like, "Did you see it?" She was like, "No, I didn't." I said, "So I was the only one that saw it?" And she was like, "Yes." And literally I was jumping around the room like an absolute idiot. But it was something that I can actually sit there and say, it was phenomenal. I cannot, if I tried to describe it again, it wouldn't do it justice. It was literally waist height, and literally just like a silver water. And I was like, that is exactly what I'm seeing. And it was like a manifestation, and I was just like, oh my God. And literally that just sets us up for the rest of the day then, and the night, because we investigated during the day, but we also investigated all night as well. And during the day we were having disembodied voices, we were having people telling us, one girl shuddered, and it was just unbelievable, just the intelligence where we were. It was just fantastic.
Yeah, that's great when you do get a lot of intelligent stuff. I mean,
especially if you can't explain it as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things like what you're describing there. I mean, I think there's many ways that people will look at explaining it. I mean, one thing that I learned, because I said originally I came from sort of a ritual occult background. Things I've witnessed in there with sort of invocation, evocation, ritual work, stuff like that people doing. When the actual spirit being or entity enters into the area, the effect that has on the environment around it is quite profound, and the surrounding atmosphere, so noise, wind, light, sometimes, like flats downstairs will hear banging and all sorts of stuff. I mean, but it's not the spirit itself; it's the effect that it actually being in this atmosphere seems to have on the surrounding area.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, and the thing at the last venue we were at the Old Nick with the spirit woman whose hands I was holding, that brought about, it was a 10-degree drop in temperature. We went from like 13 down to 3 in the area that we're in, and that was obviously her taking energy from the surrounding area, and as she took the energy, the temperature dropped. That's how I perceive what was going on anyway.
Then as soon as that stopped as well, the temperature went back up again.
It goes back up again because she's now not taking from the environment around her. And I mean, I've seen sort of, mists, things like that, manifest and stuff, which again seems to be the direct effect that the spirit will have on the atmosphere around them. I mean, I'm sure there's many other explanations and ideas that people have. That's just sort of kind of how I perceive what might be going on when things like that are happening.
Yeah,
But it's fantastic when you do see it, because it's I mean, people talk about nature spirits and elementals and all sorts of stuff like that. So I really don't know. I mean, there's going to be so many different ideas, and none of them are right or wrong. Really, it's really exactly what it is for you. I think it's your own personal. And
to be honest with you, I mean, I must admit, all the windows were all boarded up, so they couldn't have been any light, interference from outside or anything like that. And then it was just. I
mean, you wouldn't have seen it like that anyway, even if it was, would you?
Yeah.
For it to be sort of like floating in one area and moving around. I mean, you couldn't do that even if you tried to recreate it. You wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah. It was that thing though, isn't it? You automatically try and debunk everything. When you've seen something, you sit there and think, right, okay, have I just seen that or have I not? Let me try and recreate it. And there's just no way you could.
Yeah. The last time we were at Cold Christmas Church here, Craig had a puff on his vape thing. I'd actually managed to forget he'd done it and was going, oh wow, look at that cloud. And it was like, was like, yeah, okay, and yeah, I think.
And then we smelt it, didn't we? And then was like, that's definitely vape.
That was him to go with me. He was like, I'm sure I didn't. I was like, okay, maybe I did. You know, but yeah, not being funny. I mean, things like that. It's so easy, but you know, all it takes is something like that to happen that someone's not aware of. And I mean, the vape clouds, they're terrible.
We've seen pictures, and people have said, "Look at this; it's a genuine picture." And we've gone there and we've recreated it with things like vape and stuff. And we felt bad to sort of tell them, but
obviously, my vape's got my moisture, I think. Yeah. But whatever cloud that creates, it's almost like dry ice. It sort of lingers and hangs and floats around for absolutely ages. Anyone who vapes, man, be careful if you go on spirit hunt. I'll tell you, it'll knacker all your photos. And scare the living daylights out of all of your team. But yeah.
It is good though, isn't it? When you go on events and you debunk things. I personally think to myself, I've managed to do that. But then when I can't debunk something, I'm constantly wondering then, how was that done? And I kind of sit there on a night time, like I'm still sitting here now thinking how on earth can I recreate that? Is there any way I could recreate that? Because
well, the problem is, I mean, quite a lot of things in spirit, you've got to reach a point where you've got to sort of just accept it. I mean, it's like, I mean, you know yourself from working as a medium. I mean, you could debunk everything that you feel and see as being a trick of your imagination, or and I think a lot of people do that. I mean, everyone's got abilities to a degree. Mm-hmm. And I think it's how much you accept them or work with them, or how much you debunk them. Really, can be sort of the difference between somebody working as a medium or someone just being an enormous skeptic, really, and never. Yeah. So I mean, I think having an open mind to a degree is essential, really, for doing any of this. But you're right. I mean, to not debunk it would be the complete wrong attitude, because if you put every single knock and every single tap and every single whatever down to the paranormal, it sort of makes it a joke out of something that
There was a woman years ago who it was a private house, and since her husband died, she kept hearing banging upstairs in the bedroom, but it wasn't all the time. It was every now and then. But when sort of went round there, and I realised that the old single glazed windows had them sort of latch things that come out, and that was sort of the window slightly ajar, and that latch was just hitting against the window and it was slightly windy. So for years, she was thinking that her husband was upstairs or someone was upstairs messing around with it. It wasn't. It was just the window latch, and it's just little simple things like that you need to look out for. Yeah. Things like pipes, doors, even doors creaking, because when they expand with the heat as well.
Oh my God, wooden beam houses with heating systems in that'll creak and groan and makes all sorts of weird noises. It's weird what you hear, because I mean, obviously, one thing that's nice about working in a very, very small group, which we do when we do our shows, is we can make the area as sanitized as possible. Do you get me? So I mean, we know where everyone is. We know there's no one else from the team, i.e., 4 doors down, who shuts the door a little bit harder than they should do, and it wrecks whatever you're trying to do in your room. Do you know what I mean? It's a luxury that we're very aware of, and we're very lucky to have. And I think that's one thing that, working outdoors, we do a lot of outdoor work. That becomes incredibly difficult, because woodland animals, sort of.
We've heard screaming, but obviously foxes.
Foxes. Things shuffling around in the undergrowth, and I mean, obviously, we've had stones thrown at us. That's harder to debunk, especially when you're in the middle of nowhere and it literally is nobody else around. And some fantastic EVPs as well. I think EVPs actually are probably about the most easily accessible paranormal thing that people can recreate themselves. I mean, I just use my old mobile phone. I use the recording device on that, the voice recorder. Get fantastic results on that.
Oh, do you know what? The voice recorders, EVPs, were just phenomenal at the weekend. Absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait to actually go back. And I know I keep saying this, but that place was just unbelievable. And just to put this out there as well, we're actually going and doing a live stream from the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre on the 31st of May. So you'll have to watch it, because honestly, it is
definitely. I'd love to. It's always fun as well when, like, half the time you don't hear things when you're in the room yourself. It's always when you play it back or you listen back or someone else is watching it.
I mean, it's like using spirit boxes. I mean, I mean, if you use them on their own without a tape recorder, you miss probably more than 50% of what actually goes on.
Yeah.
We had a private venue where literally for the entire night we were asking for a name, and we didn't get a single name come through. It was very frustrating. And when I played back the tape recording, it was full of literally every other 5 minutes or whatever,
shouting at us,
there were names being yelled at us, which we didn't even hear. But, whatever the process is, it keeps going. And beyond what you hear in the room.
And that was the reason we sort of designed our app, because obviously we've got a new app coming out soon, and we put it all sort of in Russian reverse, but we wanted the static in there because quite a lot of the apps you find doesn't have the static white noise sort of sound to it, and you find that you often get voices through the static more than actual through.
Well, I think that's what Spirit Box are trying to do, aren't they? The radio bits are just an added annoyance because you can't have sweeping frequencies, but it's all about the static, really. But that extra recording, it makes all the difference. And I mean, the amount of stuff we have come back on that. I mean, a very recent one, where we again thought we got nothing. And the recording comes back, and there's a woman's voice in it, and it's really clear. And it's like, how did we miss that? Well, the answer is because you just didn't hear it in the room.
Didn't hear it.
Yeah,
it just wasn't there.
Well, me and the girls, we were sat around a table, and we were literally just sat there, and there were only 3 of us girls in there, and we had 2 or 3 voice recorders going at the same time.
Yeah.
And we picked up a male voice, and obviously it was caught on camera as well at the same time, but we couldn't physically, because we were just the 3 girls in there on our own.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't physically make that voice even if you tried, could you? So yeah,
not at all. No, but it is.
Did you get the voice come through on all 3 recorders?
I think it was on 2 recorders. Yeah, I think the same voice comes through. Yeah.
Because this is something we were talking about, was that the idea of having tape recorders in different parts of the room. Because I mean, if you're using a Spirit Box, I was thinking if the sound is bouncing around the room. You might get different results in different areas of the room with tape recorders. I know that this is kind of how my mum works anyway.
They were saying about having one close to us, one further away, and seeing if it sort of picks up the same voice or even different voices in different areas.
Different voices. Yeah, I think this is what people have got to do. Just keep trying, keep experimenting. I mean, don't be sort of thinking that you've got to reduce the spirit thing down to a couple of red flashing lights. If it goes off, cool, that's paranormal. There's so much more to it. And
there's so much more to the paranormal, and it is such an amazing thing, isn't it? I mean, we're all involved in this, and people are now starting to get more and more involved. I mean,
what amazed me though is people, everyone looks at paranormal going, gosh, it's really, but yet people accept coincidences in their everyday lives as being perfectly usual. Look how weird some coincidences are. Things you could never, a sequence of events so unlikely to fall into a perfect sequence, to end up with a result that you would never have got had they not have happened. I mean, that for itself is probably the best example of paranormal in everyday lives that people just miss completely.
Yeah. So what's next for you? Are you guys out investigating this weekend?
No, we're actually recording an introduction video this week.
Yeah.
And then our next one I think is actually with you and Gary.
Yeah.
Oh, that should be fun. So that's that will be good fun. I can't wait for that. So
what's Fort Amherst?
Yeah, we've got Fort Amherst actually.
Fort Amherst
2 weeks with the Cambridge Ghost Hunters.
Cambridge Ghost Hunters. Yeah, we got that.
For sakes of recording the next recordings with you guys. So.
That sounds good. So Fort Amherst. I think Penny, who's another presenter. Well, she is another presenter on here. She loves Fort Amherst. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you guys capture from there.
Yeah, we've never been there before.
Never been there. But it looks like it's got tunnels. I love tunnels.
Yeah, anything underground or dark.
So, but opposite said, apart from that tunnel thing that we mentioned earlier, that wasn't so great. But but tunnels are normally great.
But so. You guys, it's been fantastic to talk to you. I could probably talk to you all night, but we've kind
quite
of
likely, yes.
we've run out of time. So I know it's nearly 10 o'clock. So thank you. Quick, didn't it? I know it did. But thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's been fantastic.
Thanks so much for inviting us. It's been great.
Yeah, I definitely want to have you back on in a few months' time when we've done a couple more bits and pieces together, and
that'd be superb.
Yeah, that will be good, won't it? But for those listening now, do you want to just explain to the guys where they can catch you, whether they can catch you on YouTube and Facebook?
Yeah, so obviously we're under The Unknown UK. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Yeah, so
Fantastic.
just come along and take a look.
Yeah, brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah, the guys are really welcoming as well. So if you do happen to see them, just give them, just give them a bit of a handshake and what have you. But just to let you know, Parasearch Radio has shows on every single night of the week. We've got the lovely, Penny, we've got Paul, we've got all the rest of the team at Parasearch here. So you can subscribe to YouTube, you can like us on Facebook, and you can download. I'm so rubbish at this bit, and the boss lady's going to go mad, but I am so rubbish.
Come on, mate,
but
you want to roll. Keep going.
I'm trying to remember everything that I've said previously. I'm like, right. So don't forget, guys, like, share and subscribe. I think I managed to get that one then. But thank you all for tuning in this evening, and we look forward to welcoming you back next Monday. So from me, take care, and from the guys,
yeah, thank you very much,
thank
people.
you. Goodbye.
Cheers for listening.
okay, take care. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.